Hey everybody, good Monday morning to you. It's Eric here from my home studio this morning, keeping an eye on this evolving system. Things are going pretty much according to plan. There was a lot of gnashing of teeth on social media yesterday morning when people woke up and did not see 4 to 6 inches of snow on the ground, even though we talked about for days that this would be a long duration event and the worst weather and the biggest impacts would most likely be Sunday night into Monday morning, and that, of course, has come to fruition, and now we're kind of in the finishing stages, if you will, of this storm, but it'll be kind of a long finishing stage. It's going to try to snow a little bit throughout the day today. This is a look at the regional radar, and the snow is never going to be all that heavy for most of the day today. It's going to kind of piddle around, not much more than flurries at times. At times it'll be a little bit steadier, but as far as impacts on the roads, well, there are some impacts out there this morning because it's early morning, and in some places the road crews have not caught up yet, and certainly secondary roads and the less traveled thoroughfares are slick. I think there can be an increase in impacts again as we head towards the end of the day today, which we'll talk about momentarily. This system is in the process of transferring all of its energy over towards the East Coast, where this is a doozy of a storm, well over a foot of snow in New York City for a storm total. Up towards southern New England. They are just getting absolutely hammered out there. We're on the kind of on the weaker side of things, and the reason why it's still snowing here, even though this is becoming more of an East Coast storm, we're kind of underneath an upper level low pressure system. This circular area here is the upper low that is causing more uplift in the atmosphere, more rising air, more precipitation as a result, and that's why you have kind of this slow-moving mass of light snow still out there this morning. All right, for the rest of the day today, here's the simulated radar. Again, it's going to come and go, and it's going to be mostly pretty light. At times, it's going to stop snowing in your location, but I'm expecting as we head towards evening, once it gets dark, after 5:30 or so, temperatures are going to start falling fairly quickly, and the snow intensity will probably pick up at least a little bit. And with those falling temperatures and any meltwater, any damp areas can start to refreeze. There can be somewhat higher impacts this evening on some of our area roads. Now, the snow is probably going to shut off tonight by midnight or so at the latest. Maybe a couple of flurries overnight, but no impactful snow falling from the sky probably once we get towards midnight or so. But watch for, some sort of a refreeze and some locally slick conditions out there throughout the night tonight. Real quickly on this video, I want to touch on the longer range because this is pretty interesting. In about a week, the coldest air mass of the season so far is going to descend out of Canada and make for some very cold times around here. What we're looking at here is an upper level look at things, and what's going to happen is our old friend, the polar vortex. Now, that's a term that gets thrown around and usually incorrectly. The polar vortex itself almost never comes over our region, but little chunks of it, little pieces, little arms of the polar vortex can come pretty far to the south, and what you're going to see is a part of it kind of break off by the weekend and early next week. There it is right there. There's that kind of closed-in area. That's a little lobe of the polar vortex that's going to come through the Great Lakes and drag a whole bunch of cold air to the south. And so when we look at some modeling here, now this is just one set of modeling. Notice we get a little bit of a thaw late this week, but then this model, and there's pretty good model agreement, really drops the hammer as far as the cold goes. The raw numbers you see on the map here, those aren't the air temperatures, but those are the differences from average. And taken literally, this would suggest that next Monday, a week from today, afternoon temperatures may be around 20 to even more, 25 even, degrees colder than average. And considering our average afternoon temperature early next week is in the mid-30s, taken literally, this might suggest we might have a day where highs are no better than the teens early next week, and overnight temperatures will plunge, especially if we have a clear sky. So it's been a little while since we've had cold like that, and the winter so far has been pretty tame temperature-wise. And it's no surprise that the official Climate Prediction Center February outlook now has the odds tilted in favor of a colder than average month. This is quite a bit different than it looked a couple of weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago, we were thinking that February might see a continuation of the mild winter pattern, but now it looks like the tables are turning, and it looks like compared to December and January, February is going to be pretty easily the coldest month of the winter season and perhaps the stormiest as well. Despite the snow we've had over the last 24 hours, January was far below average snow-wise after a very above-average December. So February might see kind of a reversion towards December's snowy pattern, and with it will come more cold air than we had back in December. You can expect more information on the longer range and on tonight's snow this evening on 21 News at 6 and 11 and on Weather for Weather Geeks. That's my daily deep dive into geeky, fun weather stuff like this. In the meantime, hope you have a great rest of your Monday. Welcome to February, and I'll see you later on.